If it were the case that I had any hope at all that Sean O'Brien was going to go to the RNC and do a barn burner and leave the stage, both middle fingers out, I would be like, hell yeah, brother. But I don't think that's what's going to happen, and I'm very concerned about it.
We have a caller on the line, another caller, this caller from a 714 area code. Let's bring them on the air. 714 area code, what is your name and where are you calling from?
Buenos dias, comrade. Jose Francisco Negrete calling from Anaheim, California. Teamster Local 952 and also part of Teamster Mobilize. I just wanted to call and hope you guys are cool with me calling in.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I just called to say a couple of things regarding the Teamsters. Like the movie, the classic Clint Eastwood movie, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. We have some good stuff. We have Teamster Local 630 that organized 2 cannabis warehouses, I think 2 weeks ago. Congrats on that. And then Teamster Local 186 organized some Frito-Lay workers too, so that's pretty good on that front. That's the news that all Teamsters should be hearing and grabbing inspiration from. And the bad, we have Teamsters in the same local, Local 630 that are on strike. Smart and Final workers in both facilities. The City of Commerce Distribution Center and the Riverside Distribution Center. So any comrades in Southern California, please show up and show your solidarity. So they're in negotiations. So I guess they had a breakdown in talks. So the local and the bargaining board, the bargaining committee, decided to step it up and take a picket line. You take an action. So. It's probably ULP action. So go out there and show support. And then now when it comes to the ugly, once again, I'm just, I don't know if you're supposed to get numb to it or they're conditioning us to keep on accepting that a trade union, the president of a trade union accepts a RNC speaking slot. I mean, I'm just tired of Sean O'Brien just not understanding the principles of trade unionism. We have here a former president who vows to get rid of communists, socialists, or anybody that hates America. So any criticism of the United States and the United States, whether it be an economic policy, whether it be a foreign policy, whatever it may be, you're going to be labeled as as a hater. You hate your own country. It's like, does Sean O'Brien want to get rid of all the red from the Teamsters? And then shame on some of these, so-called leftist organizations that, propped up this clown. Sean O'Brien, DSA, labor notes, and of course the biggest, the junior partner in all this, TDU. And in some parts, they refer to TDU now as turd because of what's happening. Don't you guys see what he's doing? He wants to get rid of all the reds. As a communist, the First Amendment protects me to have my political views and to express my political views, but under a Trump regime or dictatorship on his first day, are we going to get that? Are they going to come down and going after all the reds? I'm like, come on now. We just have another great news earlier this week. I forgot to mention the ALU JFK affiliation. As part of Teamster Mobilize, I want to welcome them. Hopefully we'll work with JFK 8, LBJ 5, I think it is, a facility across the street from JFK, and KCVG, the Amazon Air Hub. I hope myself and other Teamster Mobilize gets to work with them to bring real democracy and real change into our union, and a union that understands the principles of trade unionism, not just bows down to the bosses. This is what it is. It's just bowing down to the bosses. You just saw in Alabama, well, I forget where the Mercedes-Benz plant is at in the South.
Yeah,
you saw how
Alabama, Vance, Tuscaloosa.
You saw how the GOP went after the UAW and that vote. You know, they all rallied around. The governor, senators, representatives, they all rallied around to make sure that didn't happen. You know, they fell 600 votes short, I believe. You know, which is still pretty. It's. I'd rather lose by 600 than by just get a 2-1 vote against it. You know, but you just see it, and you want to speak in front of these individuals. Doesn't he understand there's a Project 2025 playbook, and it has, I don't know how many pages, 80 pages dedicated to Department of Labor, what they want to do to labor. I mean, come on now, you know. And then this past week, the IBT posted a photo of him and Secretary Treasurer Fred Zuckerman, you know, having a meeting. I think what had to do with Delta Airlines. And then on our general president's laptop, it says Local 25 Boston Mafia. I mean, what the fuck is going on? I mean, are we conditioning ourselves to accept all this as Teamsters? I thought we got rid of the mafia. And you have a sticker on your laptop that says that? Come on now. I mean, this is just outrageous. You know, I just hope more Teamsters just wake up. It's like, you know what? Just be outraged about it. You can't accept this, you know? You can't accept us talking to a political organization that wants to destroy us, wants to destroy all. They're just not alone. The Teamsters want to destroy labor because they know labor is the only way that you're going to redistribute wealth, and you're gonna fight for dignity and respect. You know, that's the only thing we have is our collective power, our collective force as one to stand up to the bosses. And you want to speak in front of the bosses, people that are just lapdogs for the bosses. I'm not saying the Democrats are the same thing too.
Right.
You know, but why you go accept an invitation to the RNC, and the former president wants to make the Teamsters great again? What is there coded language in that? What do you mean he wants to make the Teamsters great again? He wants all the Teamsters to be the monolithic in our thinking. You know, that's what a fascist wants. Be monolithic in your thinking. You know, if you don't prescribe to these ideas, well, you're not one of us.
Right.
You know, so at some point, the Teamsters, the rank and file, need to express their concerns about this. What's going on? Because we're just becoming a laughing stock. You think Sarah Nelson wants to talk to Sean O'Brien after the moves he's pulling? You know. I'm sure the Democratic Party would rather have Sean Fain speak in one of those cushy, you know, primetime slots, you know, 5:30, 6:30, whatever slot it is, than have Sean O'Brien speak.
Yeah, I think it's really concerning. Appreciate the call, Jose.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
Yeah, you know, there was a lot there. Just on him speaking at the RNC, you know, that in and of itself is like just in a void. There, you know, that's one thing, and I think not necessarily a cause for, you know, I could imagine a scenario, and I could have imagined a scenario, you know, before Sean O'Brien was elected, that he gets to speak at the RNC and he just does a barn burner and says, you know, fuck you, right? And like walks off the stage, right? I could have imagined that before Sean O'Brien was elected, and in particular because of his history with Trump, because this is something that that Rick Smith pointed out during his spat with Sean O'Brien. Rick Smith has been very publicly critical. Rick Smith has a program on the radio and on TV called The Rick Smith Show. He's a working Teamster. He does this, while he's off, kind of like we do, but it's a lot bigger. His show's a lot bigger. He's been publicly feuding with Sean O'Brien. And Sean O'Brien actually publicly threatened Rick Smith, said, you are risking your positive relationship with your union going forward if you do not publicly apologize.
Not great behavior.
That's insane, absolutely ludicrous behavior. I said on Twitter that's like, that's boss shit. And like, I joined the labor movement to fight boss shit, right? I mean, that's insane. And Rick Smith, to his credit, did not apologize. And instead of apologizing, he read from a Facebook post from Sean O'Brien from 2018, where Sean O'Brien was attacking then president of the union, or he was either attacking then president of the union, Jimmy Hoffa Jr., or it was his successor, something Verma. Whoever it was that was the Hoffa successor. He was attacking them for playing footsie with the Republicans. I mean, literally, not even as bad as he's doing now. I think what the Teamsters were doing in 2018 was just like not commenting on it, right? Whereas Sean O'Brien is now publicly playing footsie, meeting with Trump and all this kind of stuff.
Speaking at the convention,
yeah. And Sean O'Brien was attacking the Teamster leadership in 2018 just for not saying anything about the dangers of the Trump administration, right? I mean, so this is like a real kind of marked shift in O'Brien's public persona and his public relationship to the Republican Party. It's very concerning. And so, if it were the case that I had any hope at all that Sean O'Brien was going to go to the RNC and do a barn burner and leave the stage, with both middle fingers out, I would be like, hell yeah, brother, go ahead and do it. But I don't think that's what's going to happen, and I'm very concerned about it. And the like Jennifer Abruzzo, for example, the general counsel of the NLRB, she spoke at a Chamber of Commerce event, right? But it wasn't exactly like, screw you, but it was very stern. It was not a like, oh, we're here to cooperate. It's like, y'all are breaking the law. You're doing it too much, and we're going to get you. We're going to get you. There's a new sheriff in town. The sheriff's me, and you got to follow the law now, actually. So, there's a time and place for stuff like that, and if you get invited to places like that, you can take advantage of it. I'm not opposed to that. Bernie Sanders speaks on Fox News with some amount of regularity. But you can't be doing this, like, you cannot be sacrificing your principles to get those opportunities. And I think that's what's happening. And O'Brien is really legitimizing the Republican Party, I think, in ways that are very, very, very concerning. And another example of this is actually, Ben, do we still have that clip loaded up of the Sean O'Brien and Markwayne Mullin backpedaling?
We do remember that one with Markwayne Mullin, the senator, and I just want to refresh people's memories in case they forgot, where it got a little heated. Take a look.
Let me read what the last one said. It said, greedy CEO who pretends like he's self-made. Sir, I wish he was in the truck with me when I was building my plumbing company myself, and my wife was running the office, because I sure remember working pretty hard and long hours. Pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on. Oh, stop it.
Is that your solution every poll?
No, sit down.
No, you're a clown.
Sit down.
Look at you.
You're a United States Senator.
All right, Bernie Sanders might have saved the day there. I don't know. But every time I look at that, I was like, how close did it get? I mean, it never came to blows, but you both had promised to get together sometime, maybe at a diner. Remember, I was going to broker something at a Denny's or an IHOP. You never called me. Did you ever get together?
Well, I think you helped facilitate a ceasefire, and we actually did meet and get together. And look, there's a lot of things we agree to disagree on. I think the one thing we agree on is that, we're both in positions where, maybe we could have acted a little differently in those hearings. But at the end of the day, I have a constituency to serve, and he does as well. And was very cordial, and hopefully we can work together. And that's one of the focus we've been working on as an organization, is building relationships.
So it was amicable. I mean, you didn't come to blows at wherever you got together. Was it a diner or you're at free?
No, it was just a small little restaurant.
Okay. Were you recognized? You're both recognizable people.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's a pretty small place, so I don't think the folks that run it pay attention. But it's no secret that we met.
Okay.
And look, I mean, it's like anything else. Sometimes you take a step back and think about it, and we can probably, hopefully, he can support some of our issues moving through the Senate. And he has a lot of union members that are Teamsters in Oklahoma, so it helps him as well to be working with us on certain issues.
So there you go. I mean, that's just that's just absurd. Like, if you're gonna do this big tough guy thing and like I'm willing to fight a U.S. senator, like.
Throw some punches.
Or at least don't apologize for it. Like, if you're gonna do the thing, like, you can't back down later. I mean, personally, like, that's not my style. I would not have done that. And I think there's a good amount of truth about his statement that, we're in positions where it was like not becoming of us to act so silly, right? Okay, sure. If you're gonna do that, then do it in the moment. Do it in the moment and be the bigger person in the moment. But if you're going to go down there and be silly, you can't go around apologizing to these freaks. Like, you do it and you leave it out there, and then there you go. But so, like, playing footsie with Trump, speaking of the RNC, now basically apologizing to Mark Wayne Mullen. I mean, it's just, it's really, really,
And I do think Jose made a good point that it's not just Republicans. I don't think like the Democrats are coming to like save labor either. But especially like in an election year, all of a sudden everyone wants to look back at the glory days of unions and praise the workers and really ignore who's driving the labor movement now and the workers now and like how policies can affect us. And it's definitely not a just one party thing. It's mostly like everyone in power is against the workers.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you're going to be speaking at the DNC, you should be doing something of a barn burner and saying screw you,
And I think as far as I've seen, I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, like UAW has signed on to like ceasefire agreements for Palestine.
Yeah, Teamsters have not.
Yeah, and like, but also like, been somewhat supportive of like Joe Biden. So like you can like have your values and like still engage with politicians.
Right.
But like, you have to be intentional about it, and you have to have a good sort of backbone.
Yeah, and you gotta, if you're gonna engage in real politique, you gotta actually engage in real politique, and doing that, if you're gonna do that, that requires, being nicer to Democrats than Republicans, I think, because, and the funny thing is that there is probably no single bigger beneficiary of the Biden administration than the Teamsters. Because in the American Rescue Plan was the Butch Lewis Act. It had tens of billions of dollars to save distressed pension funds. And like, I can't remember how much it was. It was like 20 or 40 or 60 billion of it was just a check to the Teamsters Central States Pension Fund, right? I mean, like, there's no other, that was the largest single beneficiary of the Butch Lewis Act was the Teamsters. And the idea that they're being so weird about, I mean, they're risking if Joe Biden and the Democrats win, they're risking their relationship and the gains that they can get for their members from the Democrats.
Right.
I mean, there's very little that you're going to be able to get from the Republicans. And while you're getting that from the Republicans, they're going to be trying to kill the rest of us. Right. And that's another thing that we need, I don't know. It's very frustrating, and I agree in large part with a lot of what Jose was saying, and as does Joe from Decatur. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.